Cory, will you tell me about your experience at the University of Waterloo so far?
Yeah, sure. Should I start right now?
Yeah, let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be discussing the life of a undergrad at the University of Waterloo. So I have my friend Cory.
Hey guys.
I've been getting a lot of questions in regards to life as an undergrad at the University of Waterloo. So Cory is going to be giving you a little bit of background as to how his life has been going at the University of Waterloo. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, Cory, are you ready?
Yeah.
Alright, so I have a list of questions prepared, some of the questions you guys asked me in my comments, and I'm just gonna be asking Cory and we'll get his opinion about life here so far. So, would you start by introducing yourself, your name, your major?
Yep, so my name is Cory. So I'm a student here at the University of Waterloo. I'm in my 3B term. So I've done 3 years here so far. I'm in the Environment and Business program with co-op as well, so I've had some previous co-op terms. And yeah, so far my experience has been pretty good at the university.
Can you explain how terms are broken down at the University of Waterloo? Because I'm really a bit confused as to how terms are broken down for undergrads. I know how they are for master's students. I've talked about that before, but just as undergrads, can you explain?
Yeah, so usually terms are 4 months in length. So there's 3 terms. There's the fall term, that's the term that you actually enter university in, and that's from September to December. Then you have the winter term from January to April, and then you have the spring term from May till August. So if you're not in co-op, most likely you'll only be here for the fall and winter terms. If you are in co-op, it usually adds another year to your program, which then you'll probably either be on co-op or on a studying term during the spring.
So you're saying, like, if you're not in co-op, then is it a 4-year program for you guys?
Typically, yeah, it'll be a 4-year program, and you could be in school during the summer if you chose to, but typically it's not mandatory.
So if you aren't in school in the summer, is it still like 4 years? Like,
if you're not doing co-op, it's going to be a 4-year program.
Okay.
If you are in co-op, it does add an extra year.
So 5?
Yeah, so it does add that extra year, and you'll have to either do a few study terms as well as co-op terms during your summers.
Okay, so you explained something to me about like 1B, 2B, taking the co-op term. Can you just explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. So 1A is your first term in university. So it goes 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, so forth until you're done. So usually what happens in co-op is you'll go into university, you'll do your 1A and 1B term and have your first summer off, which then usually after that you'll go into your 2A, the school term, and then after that is when you complete your first co-op. For engineering it's a bit different, they have different schedules, but for most programs you're not going to start co-op until after your 2A study term.
So it's 1A, 1B, and then co-op?
No, 1A, 1B, and then usually your summer off, then 2A, then it's going to start your first co-op. And then after that it changes, so it's going to be after your first co-op, then you're going to be 2B, then it's co-op, 3A, co-op, 3B, and then you usually have an 8-month co-op, and then you just finish your school terms.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes real sense. Alright, let's move on. So what are your thoughts on co-op so far?
So I really like co-op. I had my first co-op in Mississauga. It was pretty good, and then my last co-op was actually in Alberta, and I really liked it there. And that's the nice thing about co-op, is that you do have a lot of options, especially in regards to where you want to go. You can go internationally, across the country, anywhere basically within the province. Yeah, co-op is a really good thing to also add to your resume as well.
So yeah, of course, it's any working experience, guys, is always good to add to your resume. But with the co-op terms, would you say you have been able to make enough money to pay for the next term or so?
Yeah, for sure. So it definitely depends on the job that you're working in. In Alberta, they did pay quite well. But even while I was still working here in Ontario, I was making a bit over minimum wage. So it is pretty good with that. And I know for the computer science kids, they're making quite a bit. So.
Good money. Good money. Have you been able to put what you've learned in class into the work that you've been working so far?
So me personally, I wouldn't say that my jobs have been very tailored towards what I'm studying. I will say it's also about what you target. So if you're targeting a certain job or to do like a certain skill in the job, you can definitely find that within Waterloo Works, which is basically the database that we use for getting these jobs. But for me personally, I just haven't really tailored myself to a specific area yet. So I wouldn't say that I've really done anything in my program.
Interesting. So far, with your experience at the University of Waterloo, what do you like and what do you dislike?
So what I like about the university, I really do like co-op, and I like how a lot of people here are like career focused. You'll really find that people are like really hard workers here. What I don't like, it can kind of I don't really know what I don't like.
Oh, really?
I know that I don't like something. I'm just trying to think about it.
Nothing right now. That's okay. We can move on. How would you describe events here at the University of Waterloo? And when I say events, I'm talking social-wise and I'm talking professional-wise as well.
So there's definitely a lot of both. So like Waterloo has like a rep to not really be a social school. For me, I feel like it's kind of you get what you put in. We have a lot of clubs and stuff on campus. There's a lot of social events, but you do have to like go out there and kind of sign up for them or go to them. You can't just expect them to come to you. So in regards to like your social life, social events, yeah, you just have to kind of put yourself out there. For professional events, there's also a lot here. There's a lot of companies that come and do like presentations. A lot of them like you sign up for through Waterloo Works. You can also get free food from them, so I definitely recommend. But yeah, there is like a lot of networking events. I know Amazon, Facebook, all like those big companies, they do come here, and they are looking to hire students. So there's a lot of networking that you can do.
Yeah, I mentioned that too. So moving on, teaching style. Let's talk about professors in your classroom. Do you like their teaching styles? What should someone coming in expect to see so far from a teacher?
So for me, it's been all different. I have had like lab courses where it's very hands-on, but then also you have your just lecture style, where they're just kind of feeding you information and then you just kind of have to study off that. I would say that most of my classes are just kind of the lecture style, where you're kind of just fed information and then you either have assignments or tests that go with that. The university does do some experiential learning though, so that's like the hands-on that I was talking about. I know I was in a CS course and they had labs where you have to actually work with like coding. So there is more hands-on courses. It just depends on what you're actually taking here.
Okay, and so with the lecture style of classes, do you feel like if you went to class and listened to the professor, like whenever the lecture slides, that's enough, or you would have to go out of your way and do more research on your own to understand things more?
It also depends on the course. For most of mine, I feel like they do provide all the information that you need. You don't really have to go to external sources. That being said, I also do believe that it depends on the course.
Okay. So I just want to give a graduate perspective of teaching style. I had the opportunity to take this software type of class, coding type of class. and basically we were supposed to be learning Python and C++. And the first day that we got into class, the professor, these were his exact words: "Hello class, welcome. So I know that this is a Python/C++ class, but you will not be learning any of that in class. You will be going home to learn that by yourself, and we will be covering other things in class." So I just wanted to say that because it's just a way for you to kind of see that what we got in class was something different than what we were expected to learn back at home. Like, it was just, it's a lot. Like, you're learning something in class, you need to go home, research that to understand that, and then you're expected to learn a bit more by yourself at home, and you're getting tested on both of those. So you always, like, it's just a lot. So keep that in mind. Maybe I'll go more into detail about this on another topic, but I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and again, it does depend on your program. Like, for example, software engineering, if you're coming in for software engineering, like, I'm pretty sure the admission rate is, even if you have a 95 average, you only have a 70% chance of getting in, which is pretty insane. So obviously in those courses you're probably going to have to learn a lot on your own because it is very fast paced. Yeah. Again, it's just kind of what programs you're going into, and kind of adjusting your expectations. So
okay, all right, Cory, now is your opportunity to give our fellow future Waterloo students the chance to succeed. So what are your tips on succeeding at the University of Waterloo?
I would say definitely go to class. That's a big major.
Of course.
Definitely study. It's kind of like a full-time job university. Like, you do have to put in more effort than you did in high school. But also I feel like it is important to keep yourself like sane, do things that you like to do, exercise, go out to the social events. For like the new ones coming, do orientation. It might like kind of seem lame, but it is pretty fun. So I would definitely just go to all those social events and just try to put yourself out there, make the university experience a bit better.
I think that was well put. If you guys want to hear, there are flies. If you guys want to hear tips from me, I do have a video already up, so I will link it up somewhere. Just click on it and you will find out my tips on how to succeed at the University of Waterloo. So we have one last question for you, Cory. If you were to go back in time, would you change any of the choices that you have made so far?
To be honest, that is like a hard question.
Yeah.
I feel like there are choices that I would change. Bringing them off the top of my head, I can't really think of them now. But in total, like, the University of Waterloo is a really good school, and I never regretted coming here. And yeah, it's just all in all a good university.
Okay, well, I do have something. I'm gonna speak from a graduate perspective. If I was to go back in time, I know that, like, doing my research, I was just looking for a way to do my master's. What I would have done was look for a way to get into the co-op field. I feel like just having the opportunity to work as a student is pretty amazing, and it also gives you the chance to just get your foot in the door. So I would have looked for a major that did offer co-op. I feel like that's really important. So if you do have the opportunity to, I do advise you to look for majors that involve co-op. And also, I did also want to point out that excuse me. There are bugs everywhere. But I do want to point out that I am here as an international student, and I'm not here as a co-op student, so I don't have those terms where I do work in between. And as an international student in Canada, typically I know that, like, as a resident of Canada, if you decide to take off a term, you can do that, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay, if you do that if you're coming here as an international student, that's not really an option for you. You're gonna have to take term after term after term until you graduate, until the day you die. Basically, like, when I saw that Waterloo had the fall, the winter, the spring, I emailed, I forget who I emailed, somebody.
Like an advisor?
Yeah, probably an advisor. And I asked, I was like, hey, like, could I just do the fall and winter and take off the summer so that I can do something with my life? and they said no. As an international student, you do have to take term after term after term until you graduate, so just keep that in mind. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, just about co-op. Yeah, like if you don't really know what it is, definitely research more about it, because it is like the main reason why I came to the university. They do have the best co-op program in the world. So if you're considering the University of Waterloo, or like any university, really do look at the co-op programs, because it really does help you.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, I hope you guys got a lot out of this video. For all those undergrads asking me so many questions in my other videos, hopefully this answers a lot of your questions. And if you still have questions, don't be shy. Leave them down in the comments down below, and I will do my best to respond or either come out with a new video. And if you haven't already at this point, please go ahead and subscribe. Click that subscription button, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye now.
See you guys.